Hey guys, it's Julia here, and today in this video, I have my very first laptop for this looking back. It might go up late because I couldn't record it before and it's the day of now, but this is the Acer Aspire 5532. I got this computer back in, I believe, Christmas of 2009. So I had it in 2010, 2011, and 2012. I stopped using it at some point in 2012 because it was giving me issues. I think it was like right before 2013. So I used it for 3 years until I stopped using it because the CPU was always at 100% all the time and it was just starting to get unusable. Now I'm starting to think it's because the CPU is one core and it was just really slow. We're actually going to power it up and see what's on it and see how slow it is while I explain more backstory. I just plugged it in. It still has a battery in it, and you can see that it's orange, so it's charging. So let's power the computer on and see what's on it. Because why not? It's taken a while, I hear it. Oh, there's a Windows logo. It's a newer Windows logo, so it's not 7, which is what it came with. But this computer just started going to a 100% CPU a lot, even when I reset it. And there was times where I couldn't even get it to update. But I have a feeling that's just because I did more than 100 updates, and it just didn't like that, probably. Then again, that was back in 2012, so I don't know if it was a problem back then, but I know I had issues with updating it even, and I just said, you know what, I need a new computer because this computer is falling apart. And then in January 2013, I got that Toshiba laptop, which I kept until like the end of 2014. So that's the backstory about both of them basically, but this computer I used to start my YouTube channel practically. I started my YouTube channel, I think, November 2010, and I got this computer back in... I had this computer even way before my channel started, because I got this computer, as I said, for Christmas of 2009. We could see it's signing in, and it says owner. I'll explain why, but I'll just say this, that this is a really, old install, I think from last year. I'm not sure. I didn't check the install date, but a few days ago, I did power the computer on, and it said the password was expired for some reason, even though there was none, and I just reset it to no password again, and it let me. And then after that, I remember it saying it was actually doing updates, because it said working on updates when it powered up as well, so it did some kind of update, I guess. When I had shut it down, the system was in the process of updating. But as you guys can see, Windows 10 does not belong on a single core CPU, because this computer is just really slow, it can't handle it, it's awful. So I'm basically just gonna show the specs, the install date. I don't think there's anything on this computer because I'm pretty certain this was a deployment I did back in 2021. Remember when I did the mass deployment back then? And then I redeployed it. I think it's that same install that I redeployed when I showed those images of all the deployments. I think it's that same install. I could be wrong, but I think it is. And the fact of how slow it's going, it's just, everything is just so impossible. This is why I stopped using it. Although, I'm gonna keep this computer around because this is the one computer that I actually want to keep since it was my very first laptop I ever had. And I practically started my channel on it. Even though the first video was actually not recorded with this laptop, it was recorded with our home computer because this laptop doesn't have a webcam nor a microphone. I think later on I did get one for it, but... Actually, wait, does it have one? No. I don't think it has either. I think I ended up getting one for it later on, though. And I did a lot of videos on this laptop with screen recording with, like, some really crappy screen recorder back in the day. I can't remember the name of it because it's been so long since I used it. But basically, let's just see the install date. I bet you it's gonna be 2021 of January, probably. Because I know that's when I recorded the mass deployment. Although I'm not sure if that's gonna be the install date or not, but it probably is, certainly. Look how slow this thing is. Yeah, this is why it's slow. AMD Athlon processor TF20, 1.60 gigahertz, 3 gigs of RAM. I don't say the RAM is the issue. I say it's the processor, if anything. And yeah, I was correct. In January 2021. So yeah. January 4th, 2021. I think that's when I redeployed it after the mass deployment because it installed the wrong OS on all my systems because I don't know what happened. But I went and fixed it and then deployed it again, all of the systems again, and it was fine. But yeah, 2004 is end of support now. I know the system was trying to update. Update in progress. I think that's what that said. It's trying to update. That's probably why it's going really slow right now. But there's no internet connection, so I don't know how far it's gonna get. Oh, that's fun. Some updates didn't finish downloading. We'll keep trying. Error code, error. And then the feature update to 20H2, which is also end of life. So, yeah, this computer hasn't been on the internet in a while. And if I do this real fast, I do a CMD. So if we check, it's on Windows 10 Home, and our install date is January 4th, 2021 at 11:55 a.m. And you could see that it was just booted up today. So this is a sort of old install. A 1.5 year old install that I never used because I checked there's no files on the computer at all. And as you could see, there's like barely any space being taken up. And I did also check Device Manager. It does have every driver from as what I can see. Even their graphics driver, because I believe that in the deployment I had it get drivers as well. So it has all the drivers, so that's pretty cool. But what are we going to be doing in this video? Well, for one, wiping this Windows 10 install because Windows 10 should not exist on this computer. But we are going to use our disks again because I know I did a video like a year or two ago, I can't remember when, of restoring it, and it was a part 1, and I was supposed to have a part 2 where I was going to like install old software on it. I actually still plan on doing that part 2 soon. So I'm going to restore these discs again for looking back and then actually try and record that part 2 because I am like so late on that because I don't know what happened. I think I just got busy with school or something. I just never ended up doing the part 2. So I apologize for not having a part 2 because, yeah, I did make backups of these recovery discs. So if something does happen to these discs, I do have a backup of them. I don't know if these are gonna work. I haven't used them in a while. Alright, if I show you the disc, it's got some like marks and stuff on it. I really hope it works. So I got the disc in, I cleaned it with a cloth so that way to guarantee that we shouldn't hopefully have any problems. But if I ever do have issues, I do have a backup of these discs that were successful. But these discs look worse than the DV6, so I think the DV6 discs are honestly fine, even though there's some read problems. I'm just gonna reboot it. I'm sure we'll be fine, but I still plan, as I said, to make that part 2. Alright, we're in the boot menu, so let's choose our DVD. There it goes, Windows is loading files. So I actually did have a different plan for this computer at first. I was going to try installing XP on it, but I am getting a few XP computers. Well, I already have a few computers on XP, so I thought why not just put it on 7. Maybe at a later time I can do XP on it for a different video, but that would be interesting to try XP on this. That probably will be a future video, but I also want to still be able to record this other part too. And who knows what the health of this drive is. I should probably check it after the restore. This might be the original drive, I'm not sure, because there was a hard drive wipe situation back in 2017, and every hard drive that I had in my computers got wiped, and I didn't know what drive went to what computer, so I kind of just took drives and started putting them in computers until each computer had a drive, so every computer probably didn't get its original drive because of that. But yeah, although the size looks like it could be it, because I believe this was a 160 gig drive in this computer when I got it, and that's what it looks like the size of this one is, so it might be the same one. So now we got starting Windows, and we got a cursor, and it says, please wait a moment. I haven't seen this in a while, actually, so this will be interesting, although I remember all the laptop recovery videos I did back then. I will link a playlist below if you are interested in seeing any of those old videos and me resetting this from back then when I was having problems with this laptop, so I will link that below for you guys. And I might even add this video to that playlist too, because this technically is a laptop recovery, but it's in a looking back. I think I made a specific playlist for this particular laptop, so I will throw it in there if I did. Alright, select our language. English, it's already on English. Yes, that's obviously it. Completely restore system to factory defaults, or restore the PC to factory default state. All data on C will be deleted. Restore operating system, retain data. I don't want to necessarily do that. I just want to restore it. So erase all data on C. All settings and everything will be deleted. Recommended recovery for computers infected by a persistent virus or malware. It's not. It's just really slow on 10. Require plenty of power. Please plug it in. It's already plugged in. Detach any external drives. There's nothing plugged in because the USB ports on this laptop are broken. They broke because my dad was cleaning and somehow accidentally, like, ripped out the USBs and it broke the port. It was an accident. Next. Alright. I wonder if that drive is the same drive from my old videos. I might actually look. The action will erase all existing data on the partition. Label Windows. Sure. Okay. That's cool. I don't think this touches other partitions. It seems like it only touches the C partition. So the other partitions that Windows 10 might have created are probably still going to be on here. But that's honestly fine. So, alright, so it wants disk 2 now. It's been like 10 minutes. So we're going to pull this disk out and I'm going to put in disk 2. Alright, we got disk 2. And we're gonna click OK. With the DV6, it kind of just already recognized it without clicking OK, but Acers are probably different. This computer takes 3 disks instead of taking... I think the DV6 also took 3, but I had a computer that took 4 before. Alright guys, so now it wants disk 3, so I'm gonna give it disk 3. Disk 3 is in the drive. I'm gonna push OK. You can see it's very close to the end, so I'm just gonna let it do its thing right now instead of just waiting, because I do have a bit of background noise because there are people here and I have the door shut. So alright guys, so it's actually doing the restore phase now, so the disks must be done. So I'm gonna let this do this and I will be back when it's done. Alright, so it's doing this now and the disk drive is still going, so maybe it is using the 3rd disk on this part, so let's just wait. Alright, it says the restore finished, so let's press OK to restart. It should, boot up into Windows 7 and do its, thing. Starting Windows, yep, here we go. It's still charging, that's funny. I know the battery only lasts like 30 minutes on this, it might even be less now. Setup is updating registry settings, and pretty much at this point, Windows 7 is just gonna go through its normal phases. I'm not gonna show the entire thing because it's kind of hard to record right now and this video is already long, but I did do previous laptop recovery videos, so I'll link that playlist below. You can watch that playlist to see more stuff on it if you want to. So I'm just gonna come back when this actually gets to like an oob or something. Alright guys, we're finally at a setup and it wants us to type a name. I'm just gonna type Acer for now. And I can always rename it later, but I'm honestly fine with it just being Acer PC for now because I'm not sure if I'll connect this to my domain or not. So I'm just gonna accept this and I'll set up updates later. Alright, I'm gonna skip the Wi-Fi for now and let it do this. Now, when it logs in, it tries to install like a ton of software and you have to wait for it to install. And then afterwards, it'll install all of it. So what I'll do is I'll show all the stuff it installs. I know this video might seem a little bit rushed, but that's because I'm recording the day of because I didn't have time before. But I'm hoping that I'm going to start working on these videos over the weekend because my office is getting cleaned out, so I will have them done before. So you can see it says 2 min, and we're just going to wait for it to sign in. But I will have a part 2 on the Acer as well. Just like I said, I'll have a part 2 on the DV6 because the DV6 was having issues restoring and stuff like that. And I'm going to have another video on more of that stuff instead of it being in looking back, because for looking back, I mainly just talk about the history and do something with the computer, but if there's more I want to show or do, I just decide I'm going to make a separate video on that, because then if I didn't, looking back would be like an hour for each episode, and I really don't want to keep the episodes that long, honestly, because some of them got close to an hour, only like a few of them did, but there was dogs barking in the background, so I had to stop the video. But I'm gonna skip this. I'm not gonna register because this probably doesn't even work anymore. McAfee U, I'm gonna end up uninstalling that, but I'll just say activate later. Okay, so what I was saying, because now we're loading in now, and I had to cut some of that out because I didn't know what I was saying, but for these episodes, some of them got kind of long, but only a few of them did, so it's not that bad. But I do want to try and keep them under an hour. So if there's any other things I do want to do with the computers, I usually just will make another video on it, like with the DV6. I plan on making a whole video about the recovery stuff, like a dedicated video on that, since I wanted to dedicate the video more about the history, because the history is what's really important in looking back, because it's, you know, how I got the computers, when I got the computer, kind of like the history about using it and stuff like that, and that's what I like to do in these videos. So I'll include some screenshots as well of my Acer, like any I can find. Probably some of the older ones of when I was maining the computer is what I'll find. And I'll put a ton of pictures up either now or before, all around this video probably, where they best fit, I guess. But, yeah. Alright, so we are now at a desktop and you can see the Acer background. It actually shows the computer. But now at the bottom we have this bar and it's progress 1 to 17 and it's installing Acer Aspire generic guide. This will install a ton of things. Now there already are some things installed on here, but this will basically just install the rest. So there are some things already, but some things will get installed later. So if I go to the system properties, it actually has, you know, the OEM info, Acer Aspire 5532. It hasn't gotten the rating yet, but I'm going to wait till later to do that because it's installing software and stuff right now. The processor, 3 gigs of RAM, and it should be activated because I used the recovery disks. And this restore went a lot better than the DV6's restore, but then again, this computer doesn't really have issues, it's just slow. And I think it lagging and going to 100% really had to do with the fact it's a 1-core CPU more than anything, because the CPU is only 1 core in this computer, which wasn't really that great because later on it just got really slow. And for using this to do a ton of stuff, it would just be really slow. You could see it's like always maxing out just by doing stuff. Just by installing stuff, it maxes out. And imagine playing games on this. I mean, basic games probably would be fine. I see it's got Acer games. Maybe I'll look at that in a video. But what I was thinking I could do with this computer also was install some old games on it and play some games on it. Then again, I have a few computers that's for that purpose. which you guys will see those later on. I'm gonna let this just install everything, and then when it's done, I will go through the software, like as in showing what's installed, and then I'll end the video, and then I'll have a part 2 of like installing some old programs on it and things like that. Alright guys, so it's finally done. You can see it's asking to activate McAfee, which I'm not obviously going to do that, so I am going to close that. We know it's not fully protected. I'm not activating McAfee. We're going to go into the installed programs, and I'm going to show you guys what's on here before I wrap up this video, and there'll be a future video on this computer of a legitimate part 2 in the future. But I do have a lot of videos planned, but I will do it eventually. It loaded, so this is all the software that is installed on here if you guys are curious to see what kind of stuff Acer installs. I don't like that it installs McAfee, but honestly, the bloatware isn't that bad. HP has a lot more. Like, my DD6 had way more than this. This has 41 programs, and it's only 2.60 gigs, so it's not that bad compared to HP. But there are only some Acer things, not like a ton, so I will say this. Acer, you do have a lot less bloatware compared to HP's. So that's awesome. But these are the installed programs. It finally finished after a while. We're going to look at the system properties again. So it is Windows 7 Home Premium with no Service Packs, just like the DV6, because a lot of my old computers shipped with Windows 7 Service Pack 0, so they are very behind on updates. Oh, the Experience Index did finish, so I guess it did do this. So here's our Experience Index. The graphics is the worst, and the best looks like the hard drive, although it probably could be better. I wonder if this, like, got worse over time. Then again, I don't know if it's the same drive. Although, let's see if Windows Key E works in 7. Yes, it does. It looks like it might be. Although we see a system reserved, that might just be a result of it only wiping the C drive. I'm not sure. If I go to disk management, I'm not sure if it's going to have like a ton of drives in here or not. Oh. It wants us to create factory media again, even though I already have factory media. I'm not sure if it wiped it or didn't wipe it, but we got a recovery partition, the C drive, and another recovery partition, so it probably didn't. That's very cool. Well, I'm going to leave this for now, and in the future I will install some old programs from my old external hard drive I have, which I still have. It is on its way out, but I do have a backup of that drive, so even if it does fail, I'm not going to lose it. So that's the good thing. Anyways, that's going to wrap up this video. Thanks for watching. This computer, though, did serve me well when I did use it. It was just towards the very end, like 2012, it started acting up. Anyways, that'll do it. Thanks for watching. Have a great one, and bye-bye for now.